Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. Today we're looking at a product that was requested for me to do a review like 2 years ago, and I never got to it until recently because it became available at my local magic dealer and at more shops, because before it was exclusive only to Card Shark and I didn't really want to order and pay the shipping from there, etc. So I never really got to it, but now that it came at pretty much every magic dealer, I got it. And I have a review for you, and that is the Beat the Devil deck by Arsenio, Puro. So let's go into the review and learn more about this effect. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Beat the Devil. Now, what is Beat the Devil? It's essentially an effect where any card that you name, the spectator will be able to find in a spread of cards, okay? And what better way to explain it than to perform it for you? So you would take out your deck of cards, just as so. You can give it a shuffle, right? You can give it a small shuffle, just like that. And the spectator can see all the cards are different while you're shuffling it, etc. And then you take it and you spread it on the table. And you tell to your spectator, what we're going to try and do here is an exercise of influence and intuition. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you touch one card, but you're not going to touch any card. You're going to touch the Six of Clubs. Why the Six of Clubs? Because the Six of Clubs is a card that if I would have asked you to pick a card, no one would name the Six of Clubs. In all my years of Magic, I've probably never heard anyone name the Six of Clubs. So I want a card that is not obvious and something that you can't really get a feeling of except if you go with your intuition. So what I want you to do is I want you to go with your finger over the deck back and forth and put your finger on one card, the Six of Clubs. They do that. I'm literally just gonna go random, just like this. I'll go here, on this one, right on this card. They say yes, and I said on the Six of Clubs. If you would have went one more, you would have had the Six of Diamonds. Close, but not quite. If you had had one less, you would have went on the Eight of Spades. And you could have truly went anywhere you wanted in the deck. Even if you would have went on the last card, you would have had the Nine of Hearts. It could have been any card, and you placed your finger anywhere you wanted. And the exact card that you stopped on was exactly what we needed, and that is the Six of Clubs. That is Arsenio Puro's Beat the Devil. I love this effect, but I also find there's a lot of drawbacks for it. So it's a bit conflicting for me to do this because in the trailer, if you've seen it, the effect looks incredible and it plays out incredibly well. And the way that I performed it plays out incredibly well. This is a really mind-boggling effect for your spectator. Really, truly is a mind-boggling effect. And it also uses an interesting method. It's not a Svengali deck. It's not something you may think about. It's an interesting method. However, I do have some gripes with it. So let's get into it. Where do you buy this? How much does it cost? And what do you get? So this is available, of course, at Card Shark, but it's also, as I mentioned, available now at your local magic dealer. It's available at Alakazam. It's available at my local magic dealer. It's available at Vanishing Ink. It's available in different places. So this is pretty much available everywhere right now. It costs $35 US, and what you get is this box, and inside you get this Phoenix Decks of card, which is fully gimmicked to let you do the effect, and of course you get your instructions. Now, as with every Card Shark instructions, they're really well filmed, they're really good, and they explain everything that you need to know. But of course, I know this annoys some people and annoys me too. You do have to always jump through some loopholes to get your instructions. You have to send your email, your address, then they send you a confirmation email. You have to accept the confirmation email. Then they go back, they send you the code for the effect. Then you go to another link to access the instruction. It's annoying, but it is what it is. But the instructions are well worth it and they're good. Okay, so this is what you get. And of course, the deck that you get, since this is a Card Shark product, is Phoenix. So this is a Phoenix deck of cards that you get to perform this effect, okay? So now that that's out of the way, let's get into the meat of the review. Let's talk about first difficulty. Is this effect difficult to perform? The answer is no. Literally, if I go right now outside and I take the first person that passes in front of my house, and I tell them, can you come show someone a trick? And I tell them how this works. They're going to do it as good as me, as good as Arsenio Puro, as good as anyone. It is self-working and it's incredibly easy to perform. Bare bones. Yes, it will not always be as clean as I did it because sometimes you'll have to adjust a bit, okay? And adjusting it really doesn't change anything. The effects remains the same, right? The effect remains the same. And they're a bit honest about that in the trailer because they do show you, without telling you those are the outs, they kind of show you the way this effect can be performed. And what I mean by that is they truly go for any card, and that card may not be the six of clubs, right? They may find another card. So then you proceed with the experiment and you tell them, okay, this time let's go for, let's say, the king of hearts. They go for another card. And then you take the both cards out and tell them, what was the cards that I wanted you to find? King of hearts, six of clubs. Look at what you found. Six of hearts, king of clubs. King of hearts, six of clubs. So yeah, but even then, difficulty-wise, nothing to do. This is super, super, super easy and easy to do. Now, what about practicality? I feel this is where the effect loses a bit in my eyes and loses a bit of its traction because one, you'll have to carry around this deck of cards with you to do this effect, okay? That's one. Two, this is a Phoenix deck, and I know 90% of people perform with bicycle decks. So it's gonna be weird if you're doing a stage show or a parlor show or a casual show where you're doing a lot of things with bicycle decks and then you bring out this deck, it's gonna feel like a gimmick deck. So yes, the Phoenix back is a bit of a detriment if you're doing especially a parlor show, because I feel this plays extremely well in a parlor show. But that would mean that every single trick you do in your parlor show has to be a Phoenix back so that when you do a deck switch to introduce this, you know, it's copacetic. So I feel for a lot of people, the Phoenix back is going to be a bit of a downside. However, you can build this deck with any deck that you want. For like, I think for like 20-25 USD, you can build this in bicycle, you can build this in tally hose, you can build this in whatever you want, okay? So it's not that hard. You can definitely build this with most decks. I say most, but most people are going to be interested in bicycle. And can you build this in bicycle? Yes. You can definitely build this deck in bicycle, okay? It won't be as good as this one because this one has some special properties that make it even easier to perform. But you can still get away with this and doing this in either mandolin back or bicycle, okay? You can get away with building your own, but it won't be as good, but you can get away with it, okay? So if this is really something you want to perform and the Phoenix back is a bit of an issue, once you understand how this works, you could possibly make this your own, but you'll have to hash out some money. Another thing is, yes, this can be done in the hands, but I think it plays best on the table because I feel in the hands, it just doesn't feel right. I feel on the table, spreading the cards, having them go like this, touching one is much more interesting because I feel in the hands, if you do this to maybe someone that's familiar with Magic or anything like that, they're just going to be like, oh, classic force, card force. So I feel in the hand, it loses a bit of its impact. I feel on the table, them going like this, truly picking out any card is best. So I feel doing it in the hands, not really. If you want to buy this and you never perform on a table, I feel you can literally just do this with a classic force. If I'm being honest, if you want to do this in the hands and your goal is to do it in the hands, I think a classic forces Svengali deck is just the same thing. However, if you want to do it on the table, it is really, really good because it's fair. You show the shuffle, you show all the cards different, spread, touch the card, you show different cards in the deck, and they touch the exact card that you name, okay? But practicality-wise, to sum it up, one, you're going to have to carry around this deck always with you for just this effect. Because yes, they do give you some variations, but the variations are basically the same effect, just with a different spin on it. So this is an effect that's relatively quick also. So practicality-wise, you're going to have to carry around a deck for an effect that lasts like a minute. And you'll have to carry around a deck of cards with you. Second, it's a Phoenix deck, and I know some people don't perform with Phoenix. They're stuck on bicycle, and that may be a big downside for you. And third of all, most of the time, you'll just need a table. You'll just need a table, okay? That's pretty much it. You'll just need a table. So I think that's where this effect works best. And also, practicality-wise, I think I'm going to add a fourth thing, is I think to most magicians that saw this, they're just going to be like, I can literally just do this with a Svengali deck, or I can literally just do this with a Mirage deck. And you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. You can, but it won't be as clean. But again, I think there's other options for which you can achieve this effect. And I agree. I saw some of those comments, and I honestly agree. Now, what about where to perform this? I've already kind of hinted this, but this is an effect you perform stage or parlor, in my opinion, or casual if someone is at your house and you have the table. Because I don't think this is gonna be... This could work at table hopping, but as I mentioned, you have to spread the deck and have them choose. It can work, and it will be good, because if you're like on the clock and you have to perform just one effect to everyone in the venue, you can do this. It's quick, it's interesting, and it's impactful, and it's gonna be a fun effect. However, I also forgot to mention that there's only one outcome. There's only one outcome. I don't want to give too much again, but I think that's important to mention, is that if you do this at 20 tables in a row, every table is gonna be the 6 of clubs, okay? I won't say more, but that's what, every table is gonna be 6 of clubs. So that's gonna be an issue for some as well, okay? But nonetheless, performing wise, I think this is gonna play really well in parlor or stage, or maybe walk around if you have space on the table. You could maybe get away with this and perform this pretty well. And it's gonna work, but I still think, nonetheless, you need a table and you need people that are gonna be working with you, because I do think this is a good effect even with its drawbacks. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the positives and negatives. What are the positives and what are the negatives of Beat the Devil? Let's get first into the positives. The positives are, the effect is extremely clean, the handling is extremely clean, the effect is extremely easy to do, and it's really impactful. It really is an impactful trick. It really is good, because to the spectator, you can really show that the only card they touched is the 6 of clubs, and that was the exact card that you named. It really is impactful, and even if you have to do kind of one of the outs, it makes it even better. I think doing the outs makes it even better, because instead of touching one card, they touch 2 or 3 cards that you named, and they got every single one of them right, which I feel is a bit more impactful. So yes, there's some positives here, so that I've mentioned, but I think the list of negatives is a bit detrimental to a lot of people, because 1, you have to carry around your deck for a really simple effect. 2, only on Phoenix back. 3, the effect is really quick and really short. 4, there's only a single outcome for the effect. 5, the deck cannot be given out for inspection. So yeah, so there's as many good things about it as there are bad things. So I think some of them cancel out, but some of them don't. So now that I want to give you my verdict on it, do I recommend? Do I not recommend? I'm kind of split, because I really like this effect, but I just don't perform with Phoenix cards. I really like this, so maybe I'm gonna do it in Bicycle. I'm gonna try and make my own in Bicycle and do this. But I also think that there's so many other ways that you can achieve this effect without the need of a heavily gimmick deck. I honestly think, some of the other methods I mentioned in the review can easily achieve this. So I'm a bit split. I like this and I appreciate this. And the reactions I've got, because I have performed this quite a few times, are great. People love this effect. Maybe it's just me being a magician and having this magician's guilt and magician thinking bringing me down. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily recommend this, to be honest. I think if you really love what you saw and you're really baffled by this, learning this secret is going to be fun to you. And you're going to go out and perform this a bit, and you're going to have fun. However, I think for most people, they kind of already are able to produce an effect like this without a gimmick deck. I have like 20 ways I could do something like this without a gimmick deck. And yeah, I'm kind of split. I'm going to say maybe. Usually I always say yes, I recommend, or don't. Here I say maybe, because I really don't want to say no, because the effect is great, but I really don't want to say yes because there's too many downsides. So I'll be in the middle. I'll honestly leave it up to you if you think this is worth it, which is not really what you want to hear. But what would I rate this out of 10? I would rate this a 6.5. So yes, it's an effect that works. Yes, it's an effect that's good. And yes, it's really interesting the way it works. But I think this can be achieved with just a normal deck, and most people can do this with just a normal deck. Danny D'Ortiz can probably do this effect to you and make it seem even fairer than this actual procedure with a normal deck of cards, in my opinion. So a 6.5. It's good. It's not amazing. It's not even great, but it's not bad. So as you know, I don't really like to be extra negative or to rip a product apart, because that's not who I am. And sometimes you have to do it. But this, it's good, but it's just not great. So I'm giving it a 6.5 on 10. That's all I have to say about Beat the Devil. What are your opinions on this? Have I been too harsh on it? Have I been too lenient? What do you think about this? Because I know this was requested to me by a few people. So what do you think of Beat the Devil? Make sure to let me know in the comments, and also like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see everyone in the next review. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.